On this episode of the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast, I'm going to be talking about the 1982 vault track, Don't Let 'Em Fool Ya. Recorded in spring of 1982, specific dates unknown, but at Prince's Kiowa Trail home studio in Chanhassen, Minnesota. I feel like I'm a broken record every time I say Prince's Kiowa Trail home studio in Chanhassen, Minnesota. Like all of these vault tracks practically were recorded there, and makes sense. I mean, these are vault tracks for a reason. They weren't ready for prime time. They weren't ready for mastering and re-recording at a major studio. These are just, hey, this is my original thought. This is how I'm thinking the song should go. It sounds pretty good to me, and that's why a lot of these are released as is from the 1999 Super Deluxe. But I mean, maybe there's a little bit of mastering and cleaning up. I'm sure there was, but nevertheless, I think he could have obviously recorded an album at this home studio and not used any professional studios to clean them up or make them sound better or add embellishments. So I'm down with this one, and Prince Vault doesn't have a lot of info on it. Doesn't have a lot of info, unlike a lot of these songs from the Vault. There's just not much in terms of recording dates or just any documentation about who's there. Did anybody participate? Probably just a solo Prince recording. But it sure is funky. I like this song, Don't Let 'Em Fool Ya. I think it's damn funky. It's very bass heavy. Very simple melody, simple concept, excellent execution. And just as a general theme of what this song is about, it comes across to me as a track where Prince is warning a person, probably a woman, about a no-good trifling man. A man who's a schemer, maybe a player, some questionable morals, questionable judgment. Someone that shows well, talks a good game, is able to show off, is able to flaunt a lot of material things like cars, clothes. Gives a great first impression, but underneath it all, they're very shallow. And not a lot of depth, not a lot of positive attributes other than just, hey, look at me, I'm the shit. I think this person that Prince is singing about represents all the hucksters and the shysters and the gamers, the ones who like to show off what they have, when beneath it all, it's all very fraudulent, and it's teetering on the verge of collapse. And why do I think this? Well, the lyrics basically tell us. Don't let him fool you. I know he's got a big old Cadillac, but pretty soon he'll have to take it back. So probably doesn't have the money to pay for this big old Cadillac and is likely going to get repossessed, but hey, it looks good in the moment. Don't let him fool you. I know he got some pretty fancy clothes. Don't let him fool you. Only heaven knows how much he owes. Again, all of these material things are likely paid on credit only, and if you can't pay your credit card bills, your stuff's going to get repossessed. You're going to have to give it back. You're going to have to sell it to make money back to pay the bills that you have accumulated for all the stuff that you are showing off. The chorus of the song is something that, the chorus is pretty non-existent. Don't let him fool you. Hey, 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 hey. Again, it's seemingly a very unfinished kind of chorus. I can't imagine. Maybe you would have considered that a finished chorus, but when I hear just a lot of repeating of very simple words, like hey, it kind of makes me think that maybe this was an unfinished chorus that he was just, wanted to get the melody down, get the basics of what the song structure was going to be and the lyrics I'll figure that chorus out later. Obviously, never went back to it to finish that and then really kind of finalize what this chorus was going to sound like. So we get the hey, 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 hey. That's cool. What else tells me that this person is a huckster and a shyster and a gamer? Well, in the second verse, he says, "Don't let him fool ya. I went to pay a bill at City Hall. Don't let him fool ya, and I saw his picture hanging on the wall." So the FBI is apparently looking for him, as he says in the next one. I know he said his love would always last, but don't let him fool ya. The FBI is looking for his ass. I like the way Prince says this, looking for his ass. I mean, he doesn't really enunciate ass. He kind of swallows it a little bit as he's singing it. Whether that's kind of his clever way of saying a curse word without saying a curse word, without really caring about, or like if someone is wants to swear under their breath, that would be a little bit what he's doing here. He's swearing under his breath. I just like the way he says it. So the FBI is looking for him, likely for unpaid bills, maybe criminal behavior. Maybe he had to do some, perform some robberies in order to get the things that he has, or to get the money to buy the things that he has, which is why it's going to all have to be taken back, potentially, if he gets arrested and all this stuff impounded and repossessed, as I mentioned. Another thing that I wanted to mention about this song, Prince sings it in a falsetto. So keeping that in mind, this is all being sung in a falsetto. Maybe that also is telling me that this could have been potentially a song intended for a female singer, like Vanity, Jill Jones, for example. Certainly could be sung from a woman's perspective, a woman who is looking out for her girlfriend, that this guy that this girlfriend of hers is seemingly interested in or impressed by, doesn't really have it going on after all. The friend sees through him. The friend is warning her, don't let him fool you. That's kind of the impression I get, when Prince sings it in a falsetto. Not that he didn't sing songs in a falsetto from a male perspective, of course he did. But I can definitely see this song coming from a woman's perspective. Woman looking out for another woman to make sure that she isn't taken by this good-looking but fraudulent man. There isn't a lot of lyrics to this song. It's a lot of repetition. He says a lot of the same stuff. Don't let him fool you. Don't let him waste your time. Don't let him fool you. He may got that big old Cadillac, but soon you'll have to take it back, he says again. And this reminds me of another kind of warning song that Prince had recorded shortly before this, like a year before. And that would be Rough. She's too rough, and that's another kind of warning song about, in that case it was about a woman who is a bit rough around the edges, and he's warning other men about her. This song could be him warning women, or she warning women about this man, and don't let him fool you. So, yeah, I mean, funky song, lyrically slight, some fun little wordplay, easily sing-alongable chorus, and that's putting it very lightly. I think hey, 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 hey is a kind of chorus that anybody can get behind and easily say as you kind of sway your hips, and move around to it. Hey, 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 hey. But that also means it's not a very deep episode, so I don't have much else to say about this song. So what do you think about Don't Let Him Fool Ya? Do you think it was potentially sung from a woman's perspective, or, Prince had that in mind, or do you think Prince is just looking out for the women in his life, friends, family members, knows these kind of guys, is maybe friends with some of these kind of guys, maybe not this one specifically, but certainly has seen these in his life throughout. And so what does he have to say? He's like, I know this kind of guy. Stay away from him. Could even be a song sung from the perspective of a father singing it to his daughter. Don't let him fool you. Another song I'm going to briefly cover on this episode is a song with a complicated and convoluted history. and that's a song called Do Yourself a Favor, or as it was originally known as, If You See Me. So this is a song that is widely known as being written not by Prince, but by Pepe Willie, who is the husband of one of Prince's cousins. Just a very brief, because I think that there's a lot of written history about Prince's relationship with Pepe and their connection through family and then also through music as members of 94 East. Prince played guitar on the original 1975 version of this song, which was then known as If You See Me. And this is known as one of the Cookhouse 5 songs written and recorded around this time, because they were recorded at a studio called the Cookhouse Studio in Minneapolis in 75. And in December of 1975, when these songs were recorded, Prince was only 17 years old. So, this is pre-record contract. This is pre going out on his own. He was doing his thing with, his bandmates, his high school bandmates with Andre and Morris. And Pepe was just a guy who was another musician, again, member of the family through marriage, and knew that Prince was talented. He saw his band Grand Central playing and wanted to offer them an opportunity to participate in some recordings of his music, and that's where Prince, was considered his first recorded instrumentation was on these 5 songs. They would be released later on a 94 East compilation. Came out years after Prince broke big. And this song was written by Pepe Willie, so it's his song. However, 7 years later, Prince decided to re-record this song strictly from memory in 1982 at his Kiowa Trail home studio in Chanhassen. Incredible for him to be able to do that 7 years later, from memory, just re-record the song, lyrics and all. And that's the version that came out on the 1999 Super Deluxe edition in 2019. So, considering that it's not a Prince-written song, there's nothing that I'm necessarily going to cover on this episode in terms of the basic lyrics, the verses and the chorus. It's a really good song, I think, but the version that Prince recorded is the version that just adds elements that make it stand out to the 1975 version, or for that matter, the version that came out a few years later on Jesse Johnson's solo album Shockadelica. So Jesse also recorded this song, and Jesse Johnson being the former Time guitarist that Prince had a tenuous, they were like brothers, and brothers fought, and so Jesse has aired his grievances publicly over the years about how controlling Prince was, and how sometimes petty Prince was. There's stories about that on my Shockadelica episode, if you want to check those out. But Do Yourself a Favor has been re-recorded twice, only officially released once until 2019, of course, because this version of Prince's never made it onto an album proper until the re-release of the 1999 album, and all of the vault tracks accordingly that came out from around that time. So again, technically this isn't a song written by Prince, but there's an ending vamp on his version where Prince engages in his pimp Jamie Starr persona, and again, this is a significant section of the re-recorded version of Prince's. There's a lot of that aspect of this song here in that version. I mean, it's almost a 9-minute version, so we've got a very significant section of this song that is not written by Pepe Willie. And the theme of the song, just generally, is a person who has seen the end of a relationship, and it's almost like a kiss off in some ways. If you see me walking down the street, don't say nothing to me, because you did me wrong. The chorus, walk on by, babe, don't say nothing, do yourself a favor, walk on by. The song is called If You See Me, when it was recorded by Pepe Willie and written by Pepe Willie. So if you see me, walk on by, don't say nothing, walk on by. So this person feels like, very jilted, and they understand that the relationship is over, and they feel a lot of pain inside, so they don't want to see them. They don't want to talk to this person. They've caused too much pain in their life. They feel like they're better on their own. They feel like they have made the right choice. So it's over, and they don't want any more to do with this person. So what does Prince do in the song? So what he does is he adds, like I mentioned, his kind of Jamie Starr voice, trying to incorporate some humor into the song, because it's very serious up to this point. Look here, don't try to talk to me, baby. I'm making it on my own. I ain't rich or nothing. I ain't claiming no miracles. But I'm a bachelor now, baby. You know what I'm saying? So just do yourself a favor and walk on down the street. I ain't got a damn thing to say to you now. Look out. When we was together, did you try to understand me? No. So just do yourself a favor and get the hell on down the road. Too sexy. Somebody call up the colonel. I hear some chicken scratching. These vamps are, again, meant to be a little bit humorous. And that's a fun play on words, referencing the Kentucky Fried Chicken, Colonel Sanders. Chicken scratching is a type of guitar playing that Prince would incorporate into certain songs, like a very funk-driven guitar. Good God, too sexy. Somebody else fall in? I don't care who it is. Just come on, keep it going. So he's kind of like talking to an imaginary band here, I envision. Let me talk to you. You hear that? That's a $50 bill. When's the last time you seen one of them? When he's in this mode, he is pretty damn funny, and this is kind of like, if you know the song Chlorine Bacon Skin, it's very similar to that, where he's throwing out insults, because he's trying to insult this person who has dumped him, and again, it's like a kiss off, so he's trying to show off that he's better without her, definitely better without her. He's more successful, has plenty of women, doesn't need her. Let me tell you something, when me and you used to be together, I didn't have no money in my pocket. That's all different now. That's all different. Now you want to play crazy. You're not crazy. You're no crazier than I. Don't play. Don't act like that. Where I was coming from back then, why are you trying to now? So I think here he's trying to paint a picture that this woman dumped him because he was broke, potentially, and now that he's got money, she's trying to get him back. So this is just like a fantasy that he's definitely engaging in, and maybe taking out some of his own frustrations to some of the women who might not have given him the time of day when he was not signed to a record contract, did not have successful singles in the top 40 charts. And now that he's successful, maybe he was experiencing some of this firsthand. Sit down, don't talk, come here, sit down, I'll kick your ass. What you think, you bad now? I'll kick your ass. Call up the colonel, I hear some chicken scratching. So he likes that line enough to repeat it. Will you do yourself a favor, baby? Take on down the road. Let that sidewalk hit you where the dog should have bit you. Don't you play crazy with me. You not crazy, I'm crazy. I'm the one that's crazy. You're not crazy. Come here. Don't you walk away from me. I don't care what I told you. Come back here. Do you hear me talking to you, baby? Come here. I'll kick your ass. So I don't know at the end there if he's really wanting her to come back because he's wanting to kick her ass, as he keeps saying over and over in the song, or if he's, not that I'm encouraging violence towards women, but I also don't know if he's trying to say, like, if he's regretting letting, saying all these things and showing and proving that he's better than her now, he doesn't need her, and telling her that I'm the one that's crazy. You're not crazy. Don't walk away. I don't care what I told you. Come back. Like if he's expressing some regret and he really is the one that still wants her back, and he's potentially saying that here at the end of the song. So a very confused young man here on this song, from the original verses and chorus, how he's very defiant towards her and the end of the relationship, and really feels like the end was better for him and he's better off without her, to then doubling down on that defiance and talking shit about her, saying that she's broke, he's got money now, she shouldn't be coming back around trying to get him back or win him back because he's got money, and that she was a mess and wasn't worth his time, to then towards the end potentially being interpreted that he's asking her to come back to him, and that he's, without saying I'm sorry, basically saying I'm sorry for all the things I said. You're not the crazy one. I'm crazy about you potentially, or I'm crazy for writing you off, crazy for not taking you back when you've expressed interest. So it's a roller coaster of a song, and with an almost 9-minute runtime, it can afford to be. So I think that, again, this is just an interesting song. What the embellishments that Prince added to it lyrically towards the end of the song are the only real reason why I would even cover this song, considering that it wasn't written by him. The main structure of the song, the main lyrics of the song, and the chorus was not written by him. So it's almost like a cover. Well, it basically is a cover with Prince's own added touch that is, I felt, worth discussing. So that's my thoughts on Do Yourself a Favor, and of course my thoughts on Don't Let Him Fool Ya, to what I think are two of the better songs, especially on that second disc of Vault material from the 1999 Super Deluxe. I think everything on here is good. There's no, in my opinion, no real weak tracks. Some of the strongest Vault material that he has, I think, comes from this era. That's just, again, my opinion. I really love this era of his sound. I love what he was experimenting with at this time. And in general, these songs really work for me. So what do you think about them? You can let me know at pressrewind.net. And I've been your host, Jason Brenninger, and this has been the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics Podcast. You can find the show on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Please check out my new Instagram and Facebook accounts. So if you're following the old ones, you can stop, because I cannot update those old accounts. So please find my new accounts and follow me there. And until next time, thank you. Goodbye.